Metro on WDET. I'm Robyn, Vincent. There's a lot of fear and uncertainty in Iran right now. As we've been discussing, protesters have faced a violent reaction from Iran's political leaders, resulting in the death of thousands of Iranians. But the demonstrations, nonetheless, have continued. And not just in Iran. This past weekend, the Iranian diaspora and others, amounting to hundreds of thousands of people around the world, protested the Iranian government. The demonstrations occurred in Germany and Los Angeles and across the river in Windsor. One of the people participating in the ongoing protests is Mahshid Soleimani. She's a PhD student at the University of Windsor and a leader of an Iranian student group on campus. Mahshid, welcome to the Metro.
Hello, Robyn.
You grew up in Iran and you moved to Canada in 2021. You have a lot of connections to Iran. What has it been like watching protests and the violence against protesters? I mean, you're safe here. The people you're watching are not. How do you carry that?
Not lightly, that's for sure. The thing is, I think not only me, but many Iranians are now living this double life where things are going on here, but a lot of violence and killing is going on in Iran. And the fact that there is not much that we can do there in Iran is truly heartbreaking and frustrating. But what we can do here is what we're doing to increase public awareness. And I think that is great. And yes, we are safe here, but I'm telling you that our heart breaks every second when we watch the videos, when we talk to the people that are in Iran. And I wouldn't think this would be humanly possible to go through all these feelings and still get up in the morning and do life.
Yeah. Do you know people who've been killed by the regime?
Many. And again, it's not just me. Everyone that you talk to that is Iranian either lost someone or knows someone that, has lost someone, because the number of people that got killed are beyond imagination.
Mahshid, I'm so sorry. And I want to talk about how you are fighting for change with these protests. You're talking about raising public awareness and how that is central to the protests. What do you hope ultimately, though, comes from the protests once that public awareness becomes greater?
The main thing is that the Iranians want the Islamic regime gone, not only because of political repression and lack of accountability, but because the state enforces Islam into nearly every aspect of public and private life. And if you look at Iranian immigrants and Iranians in Iran, you don't see a lot of people who look like Islam followers. That, and then, add that to the corruption, the economic strain, and repeated crackdowns by forces. Because if you speak up, you're going to get jailed, you're going to get tortured, and you're going to potentially get killed.
You're bringing something important up, Mahshid, that I want to drill down on, and that is that Iranians are not a monolith, that there is great religious, ethnic, political diversity. I just spoke with a Wayne State history professor about Iran and about whether democracy could follow these protests that you've been engaging in and that Iranians have been engaging in their country, especially if America gets more involved in the situation. Let's listen.
There are so many examples of where democracy has actually proven to be an obstacle in other countries for American foreign policy. And the Iranians are quite well aware of that, and I'm not sure if there's an expectation that democracy is going to really take a hold if, by chance, the current regime is removed.
Mahshid, when you talk to Iranians in the diaspora or those in the country, do they talk about democracy? Do they want that, or do they point to other things as a priority here?
Absolutely. One thing about Iranians is that their whole life they've been political. There is not a single thing that you can do in Iran that's not political. So people, Iranians, are very well educated in terms of politics. One thing they want, and as many know, one thing that people want the other countries to acknowledge is that we have a transition leader, which is Reza Pahlavi. Um, all
Who
he's
is exiled and living in the U.S.,
indeed
son of the Shah.
son of the Shah, but even son of the Shah is telling people that we're gonna have a fair election for everyone to, for every group of people to have their own representatives and for people to be able to vote. And if kingdom is one of the things that got voted in the election, then that's the majority of people's decision. If not, a lot of people are Republicans. A lot of people want other, forms of power to run the country. So I believe that the democracy is the center of what Iranians want after the Islamic Republic being removed.
Mahshid, you said something that I want to think about for a moment here because it reminds me of people living in other countries who have lived through extreme upheaval. You said Iranians are political by nature, essentially. Say more about that.
Indeed. See, because the Islamic Republic um, invaded our privacy in every aspect, I want to say, let's say you want to have a party at your home. If it's girls and boys, you're not allowed to do that. You want to wear whatever you want to wear on the streets. When you enter the elementary school as a girl, you have to wear hijab. Doesn't matter if your family is religious or not. You have no freedom of speech. And every point in your life when you want to make a decision, when you want to be yourself, there are obstacles and you're not allowed to do so. Why? Because of the rules and the laws that Ali Khamenei and the Islamic Republic enforces into people's lives. So when you ask that question of why, you get the answer. The answer is the Islamic rules that are being enforced to everyday lives in Iran.
So a lack of freedom has really pushed being political deep into people's DNA, is how you see it.
Yes, and that is that people are educated. People cannot be fooled. People don't just believe anything that they hear. People now have that critical thinking abilities towards what's going on in the world and not just Iran itself. Because for us to be able to remove this regime, we need external help. So we need to know what is going on in other countries, who is in power, who can do things, who can help us in this situation. So it's not just limited to Iran, it's the whole world.
Name that external help precisely that you want to see, if you would, for me in the last minute that we have here.
Absolutely. As you can see in all the protests, especially the one on February 14th, which globally around 1 million of Iranian people went to protest against the Islamic regime, you could see a lot of posters of Trump, a lot of him saying help is on the way. And I want to tell you, Iranian people at this point want that.
Do you believe, and again, sorry for jumping in here, but we only have like 30 seconds left. Do you believe that help is still on the way given the negotiations right now in Geneva that we've been talking about between Iranians and Americans over the nuclear program in Iran?
I think help should be on the way because there is negotiation when it comes to Islamic Republic is just a word with no meaning. You never get to a point that you say, this is our common ground without any cheating, with the Islamic Republic. There is always something. So the help should be on the way if the politicians are smart enough to understand that.
Mahshid Soleimani is a PhD student at the University of Windsor and has been part of protests pushing for change in Iran. Mahshid, thank you so much for joining me on the Metro.
Thank you, Robyn. Thanks for having me.
Are GLP-1s a miracle drug? We'll talk about that next right here on the Metro. This is WDET-FM, Detroit Public Radio, your connection to news, music, and conversation. And this is the Metro. We'll be right back after the news.